Hey guys, Fred Lonsdale here, and welcome to another one of my 2020 presidential prediction videos. Today we are going to be discussing a swing state that I think is going to be a pure toss up on election day. And as I'm sure some of you can guess by the title, the pure toss up state that we are going to be looking at today is Wisconsin. So, just a word before we really get into this. I'm using a new video software. Fingers crossed it works. Fingers crossed my computer doesn't crash and this video actually works and ends up on YouTube. I do have a Chromebook. It's not the greatest, but sorry I'm poor. But you know what? I will make do with what I have, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it doesn't glitch out and crash in the middle of this video. So, also, the videos for the states, the swing states that are pure toss-up states, the format of the video is a little bit different. Since there are only three swing states that I think are just pure toss-ups, could go either way, I have decided to do standalone videos for each of the three swing states. This has to do with the fact that there's only three of them, and also doing a standalone video allows me to get into a little bit more detail than I normally would. It allows us to look at specific counties. And hopefully, the idea of using this new video software is that you will be able to see what I am seeing on my desktop. So when I talk about specific counties in Wisconsin and what that means to each candidate, you will be able to have a visual for what I am talking about. Hopefully it works. The format's a little bit different. The first two videos I did on swing states were swing states leaning towards Trump and swing states leaning towards Biden. And in those videos, I just went through and gave 5 states that I think are going to go to their respected candidates. Since I don't know which way Wisconsin is going to go, I don't know which way Arizona is going to go, and I don't know which way our last mystery swing state is going to fall, I am just sort of going to walk us through it, and hopefully, this video comes out all right. So, Wisconsin. Wisconsin is very interesting this year. Historically, it has been a pretty safe vote for Democrats on a presidential level. It's been pretty reliable. It's been a pretty reliable Democratic state for for presidential elections. That changed. I say historically because that changed in 2016. Wisconsin was one of the states that Donald Trump flipped. It was infamously part of the Democrats' famed blue wall in 2016. It did not turn out to be that way. Donald Trump won Wisconsin, and it was one of the states that helped deliver him the White House. So, it was surprising, I think, to a lot of Democrats. I wasn't as surprised about Wisconsin as I was somewhere like, say, Michigan. I was totally shocked and totally taken off guard by that. I was definitely surprised that Wisconsin went to Trump. But if you look at their recent sort of electoral history, it wasn't totally out of the blue. Okay, the warning signs were definitely there over the past decade, 15, 20 years. Wisconsin has been trending more and more conservative. Um, you have some big name Republicans from Wisconsin most notably Paul Ryan, former Speaker of the House and 2012 vice presidential candidate. But electorally, it is also it. You know, you can make an argument that it's definitely been drifting more towards Republicans, more towards conservatism in the past 10, 15 years. 2010 was kind of a red wave in Wisconsin. Their current Republican senator Ron Johnson unseated the Democrat that year, Russ Feingold, and that was surprising for two reasons. Number one, Russ Feingold was an incumbent, and it's always difficult to unseat an incumbent, sitting incumbent. But it was also surprising because Russ Feingold was like, fairly popular. He had the whole sort of Midwestern populist appeal to him, I guess. So I think there were a good amount of people I think who were pretty shocked at that Senate outcome in 2010. I think a lot of Democrats, rightly or wrongly, um, chalked it up to 2010 being a midterm election year. Um, you know, Depressed turnout amongst Democrats, high enthusiasm levels amongst Republicans. And I think a lot of people just thought, okay, well, yeah, the Democrat will win back that Senate seat in 2016. And in 2016, there was a rematch. Ron Johnson ran against Russ Feingold again, and Ron Johnson won for a second time. So to me, that is not so much of a turnout issue or a enthusiasm issue. That's an issue with your state becoming more conservative. Also in 2010, Scott Walker was elected governor of Wisconsin. And Scott Walker was a fairly conservative governor for throughout his tenure. In his first year in office, he took on organized labor in Wisconsin, and you could make a very valid case that he won that battle. Um, they tried to, well, they did. They initiated a recall election of him. He survived that recall election. He won it, and then so he probably came out with stronger mandate than he went into it with. And then in 2014, he won re-election to a second term. So, um, you know, pretty conservative governor, at least by like governor standards. State politics tend to be less partisan than national politics, but you know, Scott Walker did end up losing his most recent election. Wisconsin apparently doesn't have term limits for their state elected officials, so Scott Walker ran for a third term as Wisconsin governor and lost in 2018 to Democratic candidate and current governor of Wisconsin, Tony Evers. Remember that race, 2018 gubernatorial election in Wisconsin between Scott Walker and Tony Evers, because we are going to re-examine that race. Okay, so the whole takeaway here is that Wisconsin has been trending more and more Republican in its recent history. I would not say that Wisconsin is even a leaning Republican state, but I wouldn't say that it leans Democrat anymore either. I think it's a solidly purple state. Could go either way. Yes, Biden is up in the polls. Yes, he does seem to favor him. The circumstances and demographics do seem to favor Biden. Yes, he has that sort of Obama halo. Obama won Wisconsin twice by fairly significant margins, definitely by a lot in 2008 and a solid amount in 2012. So, and that was with one of a certain Paul Ryan running as being the running mate of Mitt Romney in 2012. So Obama did quite well. Those all work in Biden's favor, but you can't You cannot count out Donald Trump, especially in a Midwestern state that I think is there's demographics of play there that are favorable to Trump. There are, Wisconsin Republican Party has done a lot of work in the past sort of 10, 15 years to really gain a foothold there. So I think it's going to be quite close. And honestly, out of like the three northern Midwestern states, Minnesota, Michigan, and Wisconsin, I think that Wisconsin has the best chance out of all of those of going to Trump. I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying out of the three of those states, I think that Michigan was more of a fluke in 2016. I think Wisconsin, was maybe more like, if I think they were both exceptions, but I think that Wisconsin was less of an exception to the rule than Michigan was. So let's get into the actual state and what each candidate needs to do in order to carry said state. And let's look at what Mr. Trump needs to do first and foremost. Reduce the size of my video so you can see. So you will see here, this is a map of the 2016 presidential election. You can see, my big takeaway from this is a lot of red and some, little pockets of blue. A lot different than the 2008 or 2012 maps from Obama. If you look at his sort of the New York Times results from those years, you see Wisconsin. There's a lot of blue. There's a lot of blue everywhere. Lots of You obviously have some red, but a lot of blue. Wisconsin 2016, a lot of red. A lot of red. Obviously, Hillary Clinton won the population centers, places like that, but there's a lot of red in there. Trump was able to win in 2016 by turning out his base voters at a much higher clip than Hillary Clinton did. Trump performed reasonably well in the suburbs, at least what was predicted. He won white working class voters or white voters without college degrees. He did very well there. So yeah, Trump, it was close. Trump only won by about 0.7%, so like less than a percentage point, but a win's a win no matter how you get it. And I think a lot of it, for Trump to carry Wisconsin again this year, it's going to be a turnout game for him. He's going to have to make sure he turns out his voters in all the strongholds. You might be saying, yeah, duh, but well, that was what Hillary Clinton had to do in 2016, and she couldn't do it. So Trump needs to do this. He's defending. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him, but he needs to be able to turn out the voters in his strongholds in order to do that. And the first stronghold the first county, one of the real big counties for Trump, is Waukesha County. Waukesha County is the third largest county in the entire state of Wisconsin, and it is a Republican stronghold. This is a county that is safely Republican, and they should expect to. It's an area where I think that Trump can actually improve on his numbers from 2016. You see here, Trump took 60% of the total vote out of Waukesha County. Sorry, I'm a little tired. I've been teaching classes all day. Trump took 60% of the total vote out of Waukesha County. That's very good. Very good. He beat Clinton almost 2-1, with voters. But I think he has room to improve. You look at 2018, and look, Waukesha County, it's a mixture of rural and suburban communities. And I'm sure you're sitting there saying, well, I've heard that Trump is underwater support wise with suburban voters. He's hemorrhaging support amongst white college educated women. You've even said it yourself. Yes, that is true nationally. At least the polls tend to say that. But let's look at 2018. Let's see, because a lot of these suburban communities in 2018 voted for Democrats. So let's see about 2018. In 2018, Waukesha County voted for Republican Scott Walker, 66.2%, to Tony Evers, 32.5%. So Scott Walker actually improved on Donald Trump's numbers. How did that happen? Well, and look, like, I think that Trump could improve on his own 2016 numbers. I think he could easily get up to that 66%. I think he could get to 67%. I think that instead of taking, winning voters 2-1 in Waukesha County, I think Trump could win voters 3-1 in Waukesha County. So, I'm sorry. Yeah. So basically, for taking 2/3 of the vote out of that county. So I think that's reasonable for him. That's a reasonable expectation for him in his campaign. I think they could get over 70% if they're really on their game. And you're probably asking, well, what makes you think that? Well, I think Trump has definitely consolidated his support amongst your rank and file conservatives, your rank and file Republican voter. I think that Trump he's consolidated his support. They are your run of the mill Republican voter is firmly on the Trump train at this point. He is the Republican Party at this point, and I think that they are all in for 4 more years. I think in 2016 there might have been some questions. He's an unknown candidate. We're taking a roll of the dice here. I think that some Republicans just didn't vote for a presidential candidate, or they might have voted for a third-party candidate such as Gary Johnson. So I don't think that's going to be the case this year. I think that Trump is going to win Republican voters, and I would be very surprised if you see many defections or Republicans who are not voting for a presidential candidate. The other factor is that you don't have a Gary Johnson running for libertarian ticket. I think that in 2016 there were a lot of Republicans who probably did vote libertarian. They were just like, sort of as a protest vote. The libertarian candidate is running again, but I don't think that Joe Jorgensen is going to get anywhere close to the 3.7% that Gary Johnson took out of Waukesha County. Gary Johnson was a marquee name. He's well known. I think this election is so cut and dry, and just the partisanship is going to be so stark that I don't think there is any way that the libertarian candidate really competes like Gary Johnson did in 2016. You might be saying, well, libertarians are socially liberal, apparently, so maybe is there any way they could break for Biden? I highly doubt that. Biden is tied to the Obama administration, which to libertarians was like the greatest expansion of government, and they are loath to that. So they're I do not think that the Biden has really endeared himself to the libertarian voting bloc, and I highly doubt they are going to come out for him. I think most of those libertarian voters are going to go right back. They're going to come home to the Republican Party and vote for Trump. So, again, I think that Trump, he could take 2/3 of the votes out of this county easily. I think he could get over 70% of the votes in this county if him and his campaign are on their game. This is going to be a turnout county for Trump. He needs numbers here, big numbers here, to make up for a big loss in Dane County and probably a big loss in Milwaukee County. So yeah, he needs to perform well in Waukesha County. That's key for him there. Going north a little bit, over to we're still going to be on the eastern side of Wisconsin. This area up in here, we have Brown County, Outagamie County, and Winnebago County, referred to as the Bow counties. Now, the Bow counties are counties that lean Republican to various degrees, but all three counties should be in the Trump column, when all the votes are tallied. I would have to say Winnebago County is the most likely to be in play. It's a bit of a lean Republican county that can be purple. I still think Trump should win Winnebago County. Outagamie County is probably the most conservative of the three. Trump, it's going to be, it could end up being a turnout thing for Trump there, where it's like it's not a question of whether he wins, it's a question of how much. And then I think that the Brown County is kind of the bellwether of the Bow counties. Trump, in my opinion, is going to win Brown County, but it's going to be interesting to watch turnout and his percentages, because if they're high percentages, then that's bad news for Biden. If they're on the lower end, bad news for Trump. So let's start with Winnebago County. Winnebago County, home to the city of Oshkosh. Great name for a city, by the way. Obama did win Winnebago County, I believe, in 2008. So it's not as if there's no Democrats there. It's definitely a county that could be in play given the right circumstances. If there was an election with the right circumstances, I'd assume this would be it. However, I do think that this county is going to lean Trump. I'd be very surprised if he lost. If he does lose, it's bad news for him and his campaign. I think that Trump. Well, let's look at. I think the vote totals are going to be higher in Winnebago County than they were in 2016. I think you're going to have less people voting for a third party candidate. I think you're going to have more people, voting for presidential candidates. Obviously, I think some people last cycle in 2016 did not put down a vote for the president, or they just skipped it entirely. I think we're going to be looking more at 2018 percentages. I think that's a better indicator. I expect Trump to get over at least 51% of the vote in Winnebago County. I think he should be shooting his goal. He should be shooting for 51.5% to 52%. If he can get up over 52%, he's in excellent shape. But also holding Biden to that 47% threshold, maybe 46.5, would be massive for Trump. That means that he is getting the turnout he needs and effectively winning Republican, like sort of leaning Republican counties that people thought might be in play. Okay. That is what Winnebago County would appear to me. It's a Republican leaning county that pollsters think could be in play. If Trump is coming out of there with a 5 percentage point win, then that kind of puts a blanket on that theory that we've got, Biden's gonna win in a landslide. There's a bunch of red counties that are gonna flip like that. Winning Winnebago County could put change. That's a narrative changer right there for Trump and his campaign. Outagamie County, as I said before, this is probably the most likely. This is the safest out of the three. I expect Trump to win. I expect he is going to be able to match Scott Walker's 54.5 percentage points that he took out of the county. I expect Trump should probably be beating that. Trump, in my opinion, should be getting at least 55% out of the total vote out of Outagamie County. If he's at 55%, that's a pretty good showing for him there. I think his goal should be over. I think his goal should be like 57, 58, but I think 55 would be respectable. If it's on the lower end, if it's like 52, 51 in Outagamie County, then Trump is in big trouble because that means that Biden he's making a lot of inroads into, maybe not a safe, shoe-in, slam dunk for Republicans, but a county that they should be winning, that stacks up favorably. And then Brown County, home to the city of Green Bay and their Packers. Brown County, it's a bellwether. I think that Trump is going to win it, but it's a bellwether because it's like, well, how much does he win? If he's on that 53, if he's around 53% of the total vote, okay, that's pretty good. He's got a path to victory in Wisconsin, but he's going to need some things to go right for him. If he's getting up to 54% of the total vote, then all right, that's he's looking pretty good. That means he's probably beating Biden by at least 10 points in Brown County, which is not like Brown County it's no Waukesha County, it's not necessarily a stronghold. Like, it's a lean Republican district. It's not a safe Republican district. And if he's getting up to 55% of the total vote share out of Brown County, then that is bad news for the Biden campaign, because that means that you're in for a dogfight if that's the case. You're in for a long waiting game on the returns from Wisconsin, because if Trump's taken 55%, that means out of a county like Brown County, that means it's going to be incredibly close, and you're probably going to need to pull some upsets somewhere to make up the numbers. Because if Trump's winning Brown County by over 10 percentage points, then he's probably taking some of your counties that you thought were in your back pocket. So Brown's going to be very, very interesting. And if he wins Brown County by 55%, he's winning Outagamie County by more than he's probably getting up close to 60, at least 57, at least 58 percentage points there. And he's definitely winning a county like Winnebago. He's probably also going to be giving you a run for your money in some of these other sort of blue shaded counties. So, on to former Vice President Joe Biden to see what he needs to do. Mr. Biden quite simply needs to flip a bunch of counties that went Obama to Trump Okay. Um, Let me go back to 2018. I think maybe the single most important county for Joe Biden in the state of Wisconsin. It's not Dane County. It's not Milwaukee County. He knows he's going to win those there. Those are safe. It's Kenosha County. Okay. This is a county that Obama carried twice in 2008 by a significant margin. I mean, it was a blowout in Kenosha County. In 2012, it was closer, but he still won on the trot. I think he took like 12 and a half percentage. His margin of victory was like 12.5%. So it was, easy picking there. 2018, Tony Evers, he won this county. He didn't win it by the 12, by the blowout margins that Obama got, but four percentage points is pretty good. This is a lean Democrat county, much like Winnebago County is a lean Republican county. This is a lean Democrat county. The Democrat should be winning this most years. It's also home to the city of Kenosha, so that gives it, which has been in the news lately, but that gives it a good solid base of Democratic support. Kenosha is I would I'm not don't think I'm going out on a limb here in saying that Kenosha is probably a lot more liberal than the surrounding areas of than the areas outside the city. So that gives it, that kind of gives Democrats a leg up already. They really, a Democrat really should be winning this county without much issue. I even think by the, more than the 4 percentage points that Tony Evers pretty much won it by. 2016, Kenosha County. This was a win for Donald Trump and a loss for Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton didn't lose it by that much. Donald Trump only won it by about less than 250 votes. But again, a win's a win and a loss is a loss. And I don't think it's outrageous to say that if you're a Democratic candidate running an election in Wisconsin, whether it be for president, governor, Senate, Attorney General, Secretary of State, and you're a Democrat, you got to win Kenosha County. There's not many scenarios in which you get elected without winning Kenosha County, a county that should be leans towards you. Okay, you gotta win your low hanging fruit, and this is for Democrats. This really is a low hanging fruit county. So Biden needs to flip this. Yeah, I don't see a scenario where Trump wins Kenosha County and Biden wins the state of Wisconsin. This is a must-have for Joe Biden. Going over to the west a little bit, right here, this county right here is Dane County, the home to the city of Madison, which is the second largest city in the state of Wisconsin. Dane County is the most liberal county in Wisconsin. It's probably one of the most liberal counties in the entire Midwest. To say it's a stronghold of Democratic votes is a understatement. So much so that the counties around Dane County, Iowa County, Rock County, these are also Democratic strongholds. Greene County is, to a lesser extent, but I would still say that Greene County is a very safe Democratic county. I don't think that Joe Biden I think he's going to have minimal effort here to end up winning this county. He's not going to have an issue in Dane County. Certainly not in Dane County. Not going to have an issue in Iowa County. Not going to have an issue in Rock County. Not really going to have an issue in Greene County. But if you look up here, there is this outer band that kind of creates like a J, a sideward J. And here you have Columbia County, Sauk County, Richland County, Vernon County, Crawford County, Grant County, Lafayette County. All of these counties voted for Trump. Up here, you have La Crosse County, which is another safe Democratic county. Biden will win this, no problem. But all of these counties in here, in this band, voted for Trump. In 2008, they all went to Obama. In 2012, they all went to Obama. When people talk about counties, Obama to Trump counties, South Central, Southwestern Wisconsin, this is like sort of exactly what they are talking about. Exactly. So let's see how the Democrats did in 2018. 2018 gubernatorial, as I said, Dane County, Iowa County, Rock County, and Greene County, no issues whatsoever for Tony Evers. Columbia County flipped from Trump to Evers. Sauk County, Trump to Evers. Richland County, Trump to Evers. Vernon County, Trump to Evers. Crawford County, Trump to Evers. Grant County, Trump to Evers. And Lafayette County was the only county that voted for Donald Trump and stayed in the Republican column during the gubernatorial. So Biden can easily flip all of these counties back to the Democratic fold. The question is, will he? In here, sort of these South Central South Central Wisconsin counties that went to Trump. I do not see. I see Biden winning Sauk County by a fair margin of votes. I think it was an absolute fluke that Trump won this county. He only did so by 0.4 percentage points. He won the county by a total of 109 votes. He basically won by 109 votes. For reference, I am sure that there were 109 people who probably wrote in Mickey Mouse, or Donald Duck for their presidential preference. So all Biden really needs to do is make sure people, aren't writing in Donald Duck or Bugs Bunny for their presidential preference, and he's probably going to win Sauk County. I think Columbia County is also going to be safely Biden. You look at, Trump won by a larger margin than in Sauk County, but I still these two counties are reliably Democrat. And I think that just 2016 was just such a fluky election that I think that Trump could do some damage on the percentage points. But I think that Biden is going to win these counties fairly handedly, and I think Biden could get double digits. You get a double-digit percentage win in Sauk County quite easily. Honestly, I think he should be. He could get Tony Evers numbers. Basically a 11.5 point swing or 11.5 percentage point swing there pretty easily. I think he's actually going to outperform Evers in both Sauk County and Columbia County. Going over a little bit to the west, these western counties down here that's where things get a little bit more interesting. Yes, Tony Evers was able to flip 4 out of the 5 counties, but you look, Richland County, it was pretty close. Vernon County was even closer. This was less than less than 300 votes. Crawford County even closer than that. And Grant County was Tony Evers won Grant County by 163 votes. So, can Biden flip these 5 counties, and Lafayette County, Scott Walker carried? Can Biden flip all 5 of these counties? Absolutely. Could Trump, you know, maybe snag Lafayette County, snag Grant County, possibly Crawford County? Absolutely. Or Richland County or Vernon County? Absolutely. I am not, like that's the thing. Biden should be shooting to flip all 5 of these counties back to blue. If Trump can maybe snag 2 or 3 of them, then it's a good sign for him. So I definitely think there's potential down in the southwestern portion of the state for both of them, for both candidates. Grant County is going to be, I think, the bellwether county of sort of the southwestern portion of the state, the southern sort of, southwestern, south central Wisconsin. If Biden is coming out of Grant County, if it looks like he's going to win there by like 2.5, 3 percentage points, then that's a really good sign for him in his campaign. That means that if you're Biden, if you're on the Biden campaign, if you are this, Wisconsin state director for the Joe Biden for America campaign or whatever is Biden for America, if you win Grant County, there's you can make a pretty good assumption that you're probably going to win Crawford County. You're probably going to win Vernon County. You're probably going to win Richland County. You're definitely going to win Sauk County. You're definitely going to win Columbia County, and Lafayette County is in play. Okay, if you're coming out of Grant County, up 2.5, with a 2.5 percentage point, even 3 percentage point swing, then that is that realistically you can assume that the rest of the area is more or less in the bag, and you're going to be competing in sort of maybe the purple district that is Lafayette County. If Trump is holding it to the single digits, kind of like this, where it's neck and he's pulling neck and neck, if he's up, that then Lafayette County is looking a little bit more unlikely. That things are going to be close in Vernon County, and things are probably going to be close in Crawford County and Richland County. You're still probably going to win Sauk County and Columbia County, but it might be eaten into your vote totals. And if Trump is the winner in Grant County, then that not only means that basically Vernon County, Crawford County, Richland County, Lafayette County are totally up for grabs, but sort of these more imperative counties like Kenosha County is probably also going to be in play. So Grant County is really important for Biden. It's essential that he wins there, really. These 2 southern counties on the western side and the eastern corner of Wisconsin, Grant County and Kenosha County are going to be massive to the Biden campaign. So those are kind of the areas that each candidate needs to focus on and make sure they are shoring up their support levels. I'll kind of leave you with this. I think that Wisconsin is going to be anyone's game. Yes, Biden has been up big in recent polls, but we saw in 2016 the polls are not always accurate. There's a lot of stuff that goes into them, and I think that the state is going to be a toss-up going into Election Day. I think once the polls close on election night and possibly even the days after because of all the absentee ballots, it could be too close to call. I think it's going to be very close in Wisconsin. I do think that because it's historically it is a Democratic leaning state in the presidential elections, I do think that the margin of error is greater for Biden than it is for Trump. Similar to Arizona in the sense that Biden needs more things to go right for him than Trump does. Then Trump needs like things to go right for him to win that state. I think the opposite is true in Wisconsin. I think that like Trump needs more things to break his way in order to carry the state than Biden needs things to break his way. Biden can handle a couple of upsets here and there. Trump cannot. If he gets upset, if there's an upset in a county, one of these counties that that his campaign is banking on to sort of carry him through. I'm trying to find one that maybe. So, for instance, Racine County. If Biden pulls an upset in Racine County, then like Trump, if Biden pulls an upset in Winnebago County, it's like it's not good. Like there's not really too much. Like Trump really needs to play this perfectly, kind of like how Biden needs to play Arizona almost perfectly, if not perfectly, in order to win. So this is like kind of the counterpart to Arizona, meaning like Biden's margin for error is greater than Trump's is, but much like Arizona, I think that this could go either way. There's a lot of white people in Wisconsin. There's a lot of people who working class, the suburbs of Milwaukee have not really shown themselves to be turning their backs on Trump. So I totally think that Wisconsin is going to be in play, and I think that it's going to go right down to the wire, and that it could be either candidate's state, on election day. So I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much for watching. Just to recap, we have done pure toss-up states on Arizona, Wisconsin, and our next and last video is going to be on our third mystery pure toss-up state. So thank you so much for watching, and please like the video. Thanks so much.